Michael Ark Dyson, talk about conscious rap.
Well, conscious rap is a very important subgenre within hip-hop. So-called young people who are conscious of the political limitations of the culture and who are conscientious about speaking out against them. A guy like Mos Def, you can laugh and criticize Michael Jackson if you want to. Woody Allen molested and married his stepdaughter, same press kicking dirt on Michael's name shows Woody and Sonny at the playoff game. Or a guy like Talib Kweli. These cats drink champagne, toast death and pain, like slaves on a ship bragging about who got the flyest chain. Or a guy like Common, who's incredibly important, wrote a song about Assata Shakur on his album Like Water for Chocolate. So these are, or Lauryn Hill. Even after all my logic and my theory, I add a cuss word so you ignorant people hear me. So these are rappers who understand the political definition historically communicated in African-American culture about who we are as a people, and more broadly, progressive America, and try to bring that to bear on their rap art form.
Last October here in New York, hundreds of people gathered for a town hall meeting on the future of diversity in the nation's media. Speakers included a number of artists and activists from the hip-hop community. One of them was M1 of Dead Prez. This is some of what he had to say.
Right.
We sick and tired of not having voices that reflect exactly our reality in our community. We sick and tired of that. And we also sick and tired of being bombarded with senseless and useless and meaningless messages that don't do anything but drive forward this capitalist machine and get us to spend more and more. That's not what we want to hear. That's not what we want to hear. I work for the people. The streets is my office. I put my ear to the ground and I hear our movement. That's not being reported on the radio. That's not what's being seen on the TV. That's what I do, you know, as a social animal. And right now I'm here to say that the word for the day is self-determination. That's what we need, self-determination. That's what inside this meeting, outside this meeting, over our lives, and it's being reflected in what's happening to our brains. What would Huey say on the 40th anniversary of the Black Panther Party? What would Huey P. Newton say? Community control, just like my partner here said. If we ain't talking about complete community control, if we're not talking about the people being able to govern the voices that's coming into our community, our elders, our ancestors, our leaders, like we say in hip-hop, let the poppers pop and the breakers break. In other words, let the leaders lead, and let that be the filter for what's being heard in our community, the real that need to be heard in our community.
M1 of Dead Prez.
A highly articulate, incredibly insightful young man, and he's right. A lot of what Dead Prez does, Mind Sex, Revolutionary but Gangster, some of their hits and songs. This group has not been nearly accorded the level of respect that it should have for being politically conscientious or, you know, on the front line, on the cutting edge, trying to tell the truth. And that's not a popular truth. You know, the white record executives and increasingly the black ones who control rap music are not trying to hear self-critical, self-conscious political rap as opposed to belligerent behinds and bouncing bosoms. They'd rather have that kind of stuff, the bling, the broad, the booze, as opposed to the serious political rebellion and activity. As he says, the streets is my office. I keep my ear to the ground, and that's not being reported. Most black radio and broader radio doesn't play the kind of progressive hip-hop we hear from him, or the Coup, a Bay Area group as well.
Who determines what's heard?
Well, the people who play the music, the pay, you know, still payola, we can call that's an anachronistic term, but people who pay the dough to get the top 20 hits played. We hear the same thing mindlessly repeated. Record labels collude with some of the record radio stations, and the radio stations have their playlists dependent upon what they call the, quote, hits. What's commercially viable gets recycled, endlessly repeated, and as a result of that, the progressive music can't break in, and some of the best artists who are commercially viable, some of their best work can't even get heard. So we might hear Show Me What You Got from Jay-Z, but we won't hear Minority Report as well, and he's making that kind of brilliant music. So if a guy like that, who's making commercially viable music, can't get the other stuff played, then much less can a guy like M1 or a Talib Kweli get heard.
M1 came to our studios, a few years ago when we were in the garret of this old firehouse. Yes. This is his rap.
She wanna pop the lock, but prison ain't nothing but a private stock. And she be dreaming about his day to release. She hate the police, but loved by her grandma who hugs and kisses her. Her father's a political prisoner, Free Fred, son of a Panther that the government shot dead back in 12/4/1969, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's terrible, but it's fine, cause Fred Hampton Jr. looks just like him, walks just like him, talks just like him, and it might be frightening the feds and the snitches to see him organize the gang brothers and sisters, so he had to be framed frame, yo. You know how the game go. 18 years because the 5-0 said so. They said he set a fire to a Korean store, but he ignited the minds of the young, black, and poor. Behind enemy lines, my niggas are cellmates. Most of the youth never escape the jail fate. Super maximum camps will advance their game plan to keep us in the hands of the man locked up. For Tupac. They try to make us think we crazy. But I know what they doing, they trying to put us back in slavery. Check it, to get on welfare, you gotta give your fingerprints. Soon you gotta do eye scans to get your benefits. Now they got them cards to swipe. Ain't no more food stamps, should've seen it coming, it's too late to get amped. And everything got a barcode, so they know what you got, when you got it, and what you still owe. This is for Mumia and Sundiata, Herman Bell, we got you. Mutulu Shakur, we want you free with Asada. And Giuliani, yo, you can swim with the lobsters. I hope you mobsters lose your livers to the vodka. Somebody need to get took hostage. This is preposterous. Got a whole nation up in bondage. It might sound rash, but brothers, we about to crash. We in a race for life, you're thinking it's for cash flow? I'ma be the asshole coming in the party to harass you. Or should I say F it and just dance too, but we don't dance no more. Unless it's capoeira, we the new rap era of natural born gorillas, cause anything can happen if you make it so. I'm like George Jackson, 45 in my afro. I'm like Marcus Garvey coming with money to blow, saying I want to army your boats full of brothers that led revolts. On that note, I'm sick of these scared rap millionaires.
M1.
Yeah.
In the Firehouse Studio.
You know, spitting it. He's spitting it raw. M1 from Dead Prez, my man, you know, the two brilliant rappers from The Coup. When you think about Immortal Technique, these are some, people go, who are they? These are some of the most brilliant political, radical rappers. You see the intelligence he's spitting, you see the common sense he's spitting, you see the progressive sentiments he's spitting. That's not something that people want to hear. And they claim it's not in Black America. Where is it? But when we spit it like this, when the truth is told like this, Black America can't embrace it more broadly, and we know the broader mainstream America doesn't do it as well. But we need voices like that, and maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when we look back on this era, we say, because a guy like that lived. And I was just on a panel with him a couple weeks ago in New Orleans, a brilliant, articulate, soulful artist, and we need to hear more of them.
Michael Eric Dyson, we're going to go to break, come back, also hear Mumia Abu-Jamal talking about hip-hop. And I want to ask you about how you traverse these worlds as you go from the Ivy League, from the University of Pennsylvania to Georgetown to, well, where you came from in Detroit.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking to Michael Eric Dyson, professor now at Georgetown University, has a new book out. It's called Know What I Mean, Reflections on Hip-Hop. Stay with us.